Well, so I don't have a whole lot to show you, but I do want to point out that some of the stuff I just used planting the hellebores up front is the compost that I had been generating from our tumbler and working on breaking down our food scraps and turning them into something that we can incorporate into the garden and when we're planting other things around the yard. So if you'll indulge me, I just want you to take a look at this. Now, compost is truly a science, and I don't really know a whole lot about it, but I'm sort of just rolling along, seeing how it looks, seeing how it behaves. I haven't had too many crazy issues. Last year I had some maggots, which I learned are not necessarily a bad thing, but we keep incorporating the kitchen scraps and we keep incorporating the chewed up shredded browns, and this is the kind of thing that we get. Let me adjust it here. What we get is, look at that. Now, obviously, I had a whole tarp of this, but I poured it out of the tumbler and into this tarp, and it was pretty wet. So I dragged it out into the yard where I knew it could get some sun, and I let it sit in the sun. I turned it a couple times in the sun, let it get a little drier, and then we had some rains come through. So I rolled the tarp up kind of like a burrito and brought it over here to our potato mound, and I just stored it there while the rains passed, let it sit for a few days, and now it's got a really good amount of moisture to it. But you can see, I mean, that was banana peels and avocado skins. That was flowers we had bought at the store, and the broccoli leftovers and just all kinds of stuff. Obviously nothing cooked, no citrus, no onions or pungent things, and nothing whole. Nothing whole in the compost, folks. But then of course you can see pieces of pine straw and the little pine cheese doodle flowers that have fallen in. And those are fine. But what I'm loving is that we've gotten such dark and rich material, and if you smell it, it doesn't smell like funk. It doesn't smell like sulfur or anything like that, which sometimes the breaking down of food can get really odd smelling. It smells like earth. It smells like forest floor, and that's really, at least what I think, what you're going for. Now, this is not necessarily like soil yet. But if you could see, I'm not sure if you can, there's all sorts of activity. There's little beetles crawling around, little roly-polies. There's some worms in there. There's some ants. I think we even have some termites maybe or something like that, which I'm not totally averse to as long as they're not chewing through our house. We have wood piles just all around that they could probably live on for a long time. Now, I don't see any termite mounds. We haven't really had problems with termites, so maybe those aren't even termites. But you can see that when there's all this activity, this is getting broken down into some really rich stuff. So what I'll do is, like with the hellebores, instead of just planting it right down into clay, I'll use a couple shovelfuls of this stuff and chop it in with the clay and get it kind of loose. There's a good amount of moisture in here, and that will provide nutrients. It'll just break down into really good, delicious stuff for those plants to use. I'm working on my compost game. Are you?